Hi there, welcome to the channel. I'm Atova and welcome to the next video in this tutorial series. This one is a beginner tips guide for any of you just starting out in Carry Command 2 and you might want to see if there's some stuff you don't know. I've got 10 tips for you plus a bonus tip at the end, and I think throughout I've done some extra things as well. So hopefully you find this helpful. If you do, please throw me a like and a subscribe, it's really helping the channel. Thanks very much, let's get to it. So my first tip would be, as soon as you start a new game, custom or campaign, just go over here and check your island spawn and see what you near. Now my recommendations would be, make sure you've got a fuel island close that you can get pretty much immediately. A barge one would be good as well, because you're going to want, you know, more than one, because you kind of want one bringing your stuff back and then another one, you know, to bring stuff to you maybe. But I would definitely try and start a game where you're close to a barge island and a fuel island, and then anything else is kind of personal preference. So I've got turrets here, ammunition. You might not want these, you might want something different. You might want to get vehicles first. A utility one as well, because you're going to need virus bots. Now you do start with, how many do you start with? 4 on your carrier and then 20 in stock at your warehouse. So just have a look at your map first, see if you think you can make do. Tip number 2, I would go to your stock, and then if you look, you're only 30% full on your carrier at the minute, and you're right next to your warehouse island. So what I would do is maybe stock up on all what you can take, really. So torpedoes, maybe you want to get some more of them. Virus bots is another one, just so you're not worried for later. Seal chassis, walrus, albatross, Razorbill, maybe get some fuel. Should have just pressed 100 there. Flare launchers, I think we're okay with them. IR missiles, you've only got 20 on your carrier. Take some more of them. Laser missiles, we'll take all them. And even if the barge can't do this in 1 or 2 trips, you're close enough that it's just going to keep doing it. I've got plenty of ammo there, plenty of flares. You might want to take some of this. So tip number 2, stock up while you're close. You can see my barge is already working now. It's loading, it's going to bring it to me as soon as it's loaded. There we go. It's going to be on its way to me, and it's not very far at the minute. It's just over there, so here it comes. So you might as well stock up while you're at the first island. Okay, tip number 3. When you're travelling between islands, you want to turn all your weapons off. Now, I'm not going to go through all these switches to turn them off. I'm just going to go to the main breaker over here and turn my weapons off. And that should be enough to put your propulsion to its highest level. And if you look, I was about 50-60 knots. Now I've turned my weapons off, I'm going 90 knots. So it's pretty good to turn them off while you're travelling, because you're not going to need them. I mean, if you see something incoming, you can just flick that switch really easy and then all come back on. But then you do sacrifice speed for this. So at the minute I'm going 70 knots, it's going down. I've had this rest about 50, it does depend on current and wind. But basically I want to get that to the top, so I'm just going to turn that off. And then there we go, I can go about 90 knots with my weapons off. If it doesn't go all the way up for any reason, maybe you're a bit damaged, you could turn something else off like your radar. Lift or crane won't do anything unless you're actually using it. Repair will use some if you're damaged. So, you know, just have a play about. But I just want to make you more aware of this. So you go in the fastest speed, there we go. It's about 100 knots then. Okay. Tip number 4, it's plan your route. So which way do you think will be best for you? Now, at the minute I'm using a mod so I can see what factories is what. The other thing is how many shields it's worth. So the ones on the edges tend to be less shields. So have a look around and kind of plan the route you want to take. Okay? You can look at this one as well, just so you know what you're going to be getting. So if I go this way, I can pick up fuel. I could get barges first and then come down here to get fuel and then work my way around this way. But you want to kind of aim for another warehouse, because then if the carrier comes down and takes your warehouse, you've got another one ready to go up here. But kind of plan your route to there. I'm kind of thinking these like little checkpoints. So yeah, just plan your route through, and again, if your spawn isn't great, just quit and go back in and see what you've got the second time around, and see if it's any better for yourself. So yeah, plan your route. Just another little bonus tip here. When you're doing these islands and linking them together, I'm not sure if it matters too much, but it might. But if you've got a supply island like this, make sure you're dragging it to your warehouse island, because then I'm sure it ensures stock will come to that warehouse. Because what you can do as well is you can do that. I'm not really sure what that does, but I don't want to do that just in case. Because it might not, the barges might not realise stuff has to come from this one to that one. So I'm not sure if it makes a difference too much, but I would always make sure you're dragging from the island to your warehouse island, whichever one it may be. So another thing there, just little bonus tip. Not sure if it has any effect, but I'd rather have that covered and tell you about it, you know, before you find out the hard way that it does affect something. Okay, for another tip. Now, I've been worried about the carrier coming down straight at me, and I'm worried about these islands, but thinking about it, I don't think you should have to worry too much about this. Now, if it takes one of the islands, fair enough. Just make sure you've got another island like it somewhere up here. So I've got one here, so I'm not too worried about this one now, because I can still produce ammo here. So if you do see him closing in on an island, maybe a utility one like that, try to get it to produce as much as it can before he takes it, because then you've already got the blueprint, so you don't have to worry about that. And then I could just get one up here, and then I can, you know, I've got stock again. The other thing I would say is with your warehouse island, just make sure that you've got another one somewhere else, just in case that one does end up going. Okay, for this tip, if you start detecting enemy naval units near the island you're about to go get, I would bring in your aircraft. I wouldn't send your aircraft out, it's a little bit too risky at the moment. Okay, I've got no words for you right now. Interrupting my tutorial. Hopefully that gets fixed. Anyway, if you do have naval units on the next island, bring in your aircraft, because they're likely to get shot down, so try to deal with these first. It's probably common sense, this one, but yeah, try to deal with them with torpedoes, or it's a good time to use your carrier gun. Missiles might have a tough time getting through, but yeah, I'd certainly try and find a way to get them before you let your aircraft have a go. One tip I've seen on Discord and the forums is putting aircraft just out of their air range and firing torpedoes at them. That's one way of doing it. I've not tried that myself yet, but hey, if it works for some other people, it might work for you. I'm not sure what their range is, but I'm sure it's not difficult to find out. Okay, so yeah, if you see naval units, don't deploy air units. Sorry, I'm just admiring this. With this as well, my problem was, so if this happens to you, the problem was I was speeding about 90 knots then to try and get to this island. So, little bonus tip there. If you don't want this to happen, it might be best to stop your carrier. I think even my albatross went around because I was going too fast. So yeah, bonus tip. So my next tip would be to go code your virus bot vehicle. So I'm going to get my virus bot vehicle here that I call Kevin. And I'm just going to get him deployed away from enemies, maybe over here. And then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give that the Delta Go code. And then I'm going to plan his mission. So he's going to come here. He's going to deploy vehicle. And he's going to go straight back to the carrier. just like that. So now I can deal with what I want to deal with. The only worry I have is to make sure no one goes near him, because he's quite vulnerable on his own. So I need to make sure the area is clear, maybe put him a bit further away if you're unsure. But you can kind of automate that mission, it's one less thing to worry about. And then as you're doing the mission and you realise, oh, it's kind of got a clear run to the command centre, you can just give your go code and that mission will be automated for you. You don't have to worry about it. But it's just a nice little thing I've found, especially for solo players. Not having to worry about, you know, navigating your virus bots in. Just one less thing to worry about, really. So there you go. Alright, this next tip, if you're feeling brave, and I'd do this if you've got a gamepad. If you want to be crazy and do it with a keyboard, that's up to you, but if you're trying to manually control a Razorbill on the keyboard, you've got to fire with your mouse. I know there's problems there, and I hope it'll get changed, but for now this is what we've got. Anyway, Razorbills have a bit of trouble at the minute firing, not quite sure why, but manually doing it is a little bit better. So I've got a gamepad here. I'm going to take over my vehicle control, and I'll demonstrate with the IR missile first, so I'm just going to manually take that. I'm going to manually take control of my vehicle. Now when you take control of the Razorbill, the power is, your throttle basically keeps you in the air, so don't reduce it to nothing, thinking you're going to slow down, because you'll just drop from the sky. You do have a prograde marker, which will be on screen in a second, hopefully. Find it. Just move forward a little bit. There it is. And then if you switch to, let's say, missiles, I've got one there. I can lock on, and then I can fire it. Make sure my power's going up because I can see my prograde marker there. Brilliant. And then I can switch to my cannon, and let's give this a go. I'm not guaranteeing hits here. I can basically lock on with that as well. And with the gamepad it's a lot more intuitive. I'm kind of enjoying doing this. I think he might be behind that there. There we go. Nope. Manual control and there we go. And I'm having a lot more success with this. If you can believe that by my piloting skills. Let's just come around here a bit. Whoa, hello. And if you don't feel comfortable navigating it, you could just set it on autopilot. Let it do its work, line it up the way you want it, like this. So I'll do it now. So I'm going to get my Razorbill to spin round for me because, you know, I'm not that confident with it. In fact, let's just have it spin round now. There we go, he's a lot faster at that than I am. Take over manual, take over manual. Again, prograde marker helps there, look, just do it nice and steady. But if they've got A, this will be a lot harder, I reckon. Let's lock that target. And there we go. Try and bring it around for this one. Oh, I've got one there that I've not tagged. I'm not gonna... I'll probably crash if I try aiming for that now. Just nice, steady movements. Lock onto this target here. Bring the power down. Might not be able to get this one. I think he's hiding behind that rock. Maybe he's just coming there. There we go. So yeah, that was a long tip, but yeah, manually flying these Razorbills is a lot better than trying to get them to autopilot to your target. So my next tip would be to use flares. Now if you want to use flares, you've got to make sure they're activated here. And then on your vehicle, go to the camera, kind of aim for the centre of the island, fire the flare, let it get a solution. There we go. And then when it launches and activates, it will pretty much light up the whole island for you. It can be really useful, you know, just looking at the terrain for your planning. Tagging seems to become a little bit easier. And yeah, it's just, I think it looks really cool when you light the island up with a flare. I think these need to be used a little bit more. I do like using flares. And there we go, I can see where I'm going. So really useful if it's night time or a little bit foggy and you're having a hard time seeing, you know, I might want to bring my seals up here, but I don't know which way is the best to go if I kind of want to plan my own path through. So now I can kind of see up this way would probably be best. Yeah, so use flares. Okay, my next tip would be to save your, where is it? Save your carry gun ammo. You don't get too much of this. I thought it'd sound there, it didn't. You don't get too much of this at the start. So you can see I've got 100 shells. And this might not be the first thing you unlock. So when you go around the maps, I'll have to go to this one, and sometimes I'm not guaranteed a blueprint either when I go to these. There. And I can't guarantee how many goes it's going to take before I get 160. And these are probably one of your most useful weapons early on, because they're pretty accurate. They're pretty much guaranteed to take out whatever you're firing at. So use these a little bit sparingly at the start. Okay? And if you unlock them early, fair play. But yeah, just be careful of them. And also just check your other ammo. If you find yourself using something else quite a lot, just, you know, be a little bit conservative if it's working for you. Just don't use it all early on until you know you can make more. So that's my beginner's tips for you. If you think I've missed anything, please put something in the comments and we'll have a discussion about it. If you have any requests for videos, if you want to see more in depth on something, just let me know and I'll see what I can do. I do have a station guide series up, covering all the stations of the carrier. There's only one missing at the moment, but I'll probably get that on tomorrow. If you're watching after that, then it's probably up there already. Yeah, if this has helped you, please give me a like and subscribe. Thanks very much. Bye bye.